Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the podcast Beautiful You. I'm your host Avantika. If you're wondering why my audio is so good, or at least I hope that it's better, it's because this is the first episode ever where I'm using a proper microphone to record. I'm turning 20, or I would have turned 20 by the time you're listening to this. And as my birthday gift, my mother got me a microphone, because I wanted to have it when I started it initially, but then I wanted to see if I was consistent enough with podcasting, and it's been more than a year. So I finally, decided that okay, I can take the next step and get myself a microphone. Anyways, so I'm really excited to turn 20, but before we dive into it, I recorded an entire birthday episode, but then I decided that I do not like the content, I do not like the way I spoke, I do not like the draft at all. So I had to so I had to edit my entire content and then re-record again, and I'm recording it on 17th, and I have an exam on 19th, which is so anything to not study. I'm actually so stressed. Like, I'm genuinely so stressed. I'm probably gonna pull an all-nighter tonight and get some studying done. Apart from that, I had an interview earlier this week which went pretty well for an advocacy program that I applied to, and then today itself I got a call that I have an interview on Monday for an internship that I'd applied to. So basically these things have been happening that I've been applying to stuff and getting callbacks or getting interviews for it, which makes me very excited for 2023 because I already have so many plans that I want to execute, and it genuinely is looking up. Like, I'm so beyond excited because I know 2023 is going to be just as good as 2022, if not any better. Take this as your sign to apply for that internship that you have been wanting to send that email to that particular person that you want to work with, that you have been hesitating to do it, when you have been doubting yourself. Just do it. Worst that can happen is you don't get selected for it, or you just don't hear back from them at all. The best thing that can happen is you hear back from them and you work with them, wherever the person is. So send that email, write down that application, fill the form, whatever the process is, just do it. Take a chance on yourself, because if you don't, then who will? Okay, coming back to the episode. The reason why I'm so excited about turning 20 is because I feel like I'm entering my 20s on the right foot, just the way I want to. Like, I'm studying what I've always wanted to study. I'm falling in love with the process of my profession, the making of it. I have a part-time job, internships going on, advocating for mental health. Basically, I'm living the life I had pictured when I was 15. And I'm also taking accountability for healing my inner child, and I'm growing into a better version every single day. Like, I genuinely feel at peace with my pace, and I know that I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, So in today's episode, I want to take a look back on my 19th year and share some things that I learned along the way this year. Without further ado, let's get started. I'm so sorry. I had to. I romanticize everything, and I have no regrets. Speaking of which, I'm learning to be unapologetic about the way I live, with the world through my rose tinted glasses. And I realize that it's nothing to be ashamed of, because it doesn't mean that I'm not looking at the risks or, the potential downfalls or everything. It just means that even when I'm down in the dumps, I have hope, and I know that things will get better. That is what the rose tinted glasses help me do it. They just help me, have some hope, have some faith that things will get better. Because the whole saying, when the going gets tough, let the tough get going. My rose tinted glasses help me do that. So I'm not apologetic about being so optimistic and romanticizing everything, because there's so much fun, bro. I'm the main character and I love it. Okay, so to have a little bit of recap of my 19th year, it started off strong with a severe depressive episode which lasted for about 4 months, and I started seeing my current therapist and my psychiatrist. During this time, apart from college committees and teaching part-time, I had a social media internship going on with a corporate company. I was doing a peer counseling course, and I was also part of Saturday Club, which is basically like a networking platform for entrepreneurs. And I was representing my mom's business there. I performed poetry, or at least some of my poems, thrice this year, which was pretty fun and exhilarating. I miss it. I miss performing so much. I have not been able to like write anything good enough for me to perform in ages. So I'm really looking forward to 2023 being the year where I get the courage to do it more often. After that, in my summer vacation, I went to France, baby. Okay, so I went to France for a volunteering program as an English assistant. I lived with a French family for about 4 weeks and then traveled to other parts of France by myself. Met so many amazing people. The French family that I lived with for 4 weeks, they're officially my second family. They showed me so much love. They literally treated me like their daughter, and I got so much love and compassion for them. We are still in contact, we still talk. I still open up to them about so many things. They tell me about everything that's going on with them, and it's honestly an amazing bond. During that time, like during the internship in France, I was also working as a peer counselor under a supervisor. So I had my own clients and such during that time, which was pretty cool. After that, my third semester started and I went through a major heartbreak, and another depressive episode sets in. In this depressive episode, I had certain issues with medications. So my psychiatrist and we had to like work our shit out and figure out which medications work, which medications don't. And like, it has been really hard in terms of that, because I would experience certain side effects that I was not expecting at all. And it was scary, trying to find the right medication for you, what works well with your body, what doesn't. It's a scary thing, because there's only so much support that you can get from other people. But also at this time, I did not tell anyone else until it was, a little too late. So yeah, it's just the side effects are just scary to experience. But we finally figured out what works for me, so now I'm doing much better, thankfully. This semester, again, I took part in college committees and continued teaching part-time. Okay, so this very exciting thing happened where I got featured in a magazine called The Week regarding my diagnosis with bipolar disorder. I was also the youngest panelist in an event by Rotrack to celebrate Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, which was in November. So yeah, there was a long list, and it was a really happening year. I feel like I grew into becoming my own person even more, and all those events helped me gain, so much confidence. Being in France, in a country I do not speak the language of, and to be traveling solo at 19, when I came back, I felt like a whole different person because I was so confident within myself. I had learned so much, I had experienced so much, I have so many memories from that, and I do plan to make an episode about just me gushing over France, because honestly it's so worth it. I was there for about 37 days and my travel was pretty crazy. It was the first time ever that I was traveling internationally. A lot of my firsts happened in that trip, It was pretty fun. So coming to the next part of the episode, where the things that I learned this year, I have just written down some of my points which were highlights of it. There are way too many lessons that I learned, but I feel like I want to cover those into an episode where I cover things I learned in therapy. So this is just some of the things that I learned. One thing that I knew growing up, but it really hit me this year, was how happiness isn't a destination. It's found in the process of doing something you love. It's what fills you up with gratitude and makes you feel fulfilled at the end of the day. Like whenever I think about my happy days, I don't think, okay, this is what I had achieved, this is why I was happy, or this is where I was, or this is who I was hanging out with. It's not about a particular destination, a goal, but rather the process of it. I have been my happiest when I'm truly doing something I love. Like even when it comes to, let's say, podcasting, right? It's great when I get feedback. It's great when people relate to my work and they say that, oh, you're doing a great job, keep it up. They love listening to my podcast and everything. But that's a really fun part. But what truly makes me happy is the process of it. I love sitting down, writing content, brainstorming, going through my old notes, going through, my diaries and coming up with content, going through YouTube, doing my research, and then writing down, recording, editing, and then putting it out there. It's an entire process that I love. So it's like, I was very happy when I was in France, because I mean, come on, it's France, you cannot not be happy, you know. But like, I was also enjoying the process of teaching. I was enjoying the process of connecting. I was enjoying my internship as a peer counselor. It was like the process of it that fills me up. So happiness is not a destination, it's found in the process of doing something. The next thing that that was the biggest takeaway from this year was that, and this is again something I knew, but it just resurfaced again and again in this year, is that everyone craves genuine connection. And like, people are so fundamentally similar. On some nights I connected with certain individuals in France the way I had never connected with anyone else before. It was magical, I'm not even gonna lie. The way I had connected with them, the way, you know, we were so in sync with our ideologies, with our thoughts, with our bodies. It was amazing. Even peer counseling taught me, like when I was having clients. So the thing is, with peer counseling, I have very limited skill set because I'm just a student who's studying psychology. So we were only trained in basic counseling skills and active listening skills, and we only had like 3 sessions with each client, which lasted, like, each session lasted for 30 minutes. So I would only give my clients you know, almost 2 hours of my time, and that made such an impact on them. A lot of my clients at the end of the third session would tell me that, you know, thank you for listening. They have so much more clarity now. They felt heard. It showed me how people often feel unheard and alone, and they just want someone's undivided attention. Listening to someone can go a long way. So the next thing would be that, you know, peer counseling taught me that this is what I want to pursue in my future. The whole experience just showed me that, you know, clinical and counseling is what I want to do, and this is my calling, like, this is it. So it was really beautiful for me to get to experience that at 19. The one more thing that my therapist taught me was that, so okay, I deal with imposter syndrome to a whole another level. Like, it's very intense. Sometimes it gets into my way of things. Why that happens is because my therapist was telling me that you have these 2 narratives in your head. The one thing, which is what tells you that, you know, oh, you're doing good, and the other part is just being hard on yourself. It's just, you know, telling you that, oh, you didn't do jack shit, like, why are you happy about it, and stuff like that. So it's like, it's about, when you deal with imposter syndrome, it's because you're so used to listening to that negative side of you, and that negative side can be affected by a lot of things, by, you know, your environment, by your upbringing, by your thought patterns, or the stuff that you consume. So we are so used to listening to the negative side, when instead we should be practicing listening to the positive side more, you know. Like, let's say, for example, if I've been pretty candid about it on social media, on internet. I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder in 2020, my bad. And I had like several tests which you know, I had to go through. So like, the psychiatrist like took like proper psychometric assessments and neuropsychological tests, and you know, it has been confirmed time and again that that's the diagnosis, that's the accurate diagnosis. And I've been on medications and going to therapy for it for months now. But there are certain parts of me which would believe that, wait, am I faking it? Like, I'm telling people that I have bipolar, but am I doing it for attention? You know, what am I gaining from it? Why do I think I have bipolar? Maybe I'm just making it up. I'm overthinking it too much. So it's like, I'm making it up. It's not even happening to me for real. You know, I'm just an imposter out there. And I was telling my therapist about how, what if I don't have bipolar and I'm just fooling you around? And then he actually told me in one of my sessions that he's like, look, you either do have bipolar or you're a really good actor. I'm like, huh. For a second right there, I actually thought, wait, what if I'm a really good actor? Because like, you're just so used to being hard on yourself and criticizing yourself every second that you don't take time to cross-check it. So anyways, that was what was happening with me, and I've been practicing how to listen to my positive side more, and you know, just managing imposter syndrome and not letting it affect me. Oh, okay. One more thing that I learned in my 19th year, which I'm so proud of, is to how to make boundaries, not just with friends, but with family as well. Right now, there are only a limited set of people who have complete access to me. The last thing that I will, talk about that I learned is that your energy is finite. You're the resource. You have to invest wisely. So this implies, like, this came up when I was talking to my therapist about when I was struggling with depression. And since I have bipolar, I have these episodes when I have, hypomania, where my energy levels are like extremely high, and then there's depression when my energy levels are extremely low. So I need to like maintain that balance so that my life doesn't get affected too much. Like, there are certain things that I just cannot compromise on, and like, for example, college, but I can compromise on my social life then. So it's about, investing where you want to do, investing your energy, because you are finite. You are a finite source. I had to stop working with someone, or I had to drop out of an internship because I just couldn't have so many things going on with my life. I had to take several breaks from this podcast because I just couldn't afford to give my energy into that. So yeah, one thing, and there's like nothing wrong with it. Your energy is finite. You need to save it. You need to save yourself. You need to invest wisely, and you need to make sure that whatever you're investing it is worth it. And honestly, currently in therapy, we are working on, well, a lot of things right now that I do not want to talk about. But one of the things that we're working on is frustration tolerance. So basically, this will be something that will be helpful for you. When we have this inner dialogue that, oh, this person, I think this person should do that, or I think that person should do this. And we think it's an expectation. Like, we're just expecting a person to like do something for us, and that's fine. You are allowed to have expectations. But whenever your internal dialogue has the word should, it's not an expectation anymore, it's a demand. And when we have demands, it creates grounds for frustration and anger. When you have an expectation, it leads to disappointment, and sure, it leads to like frustration a little bit. But when it's a demand, it creates ground for more frustration and anger to like a more intense level. So pay attention to your inner dialogue whenever you're frustrated with someone or something, and you think, oh, this should have been this should have happened, or this should have happened. When there's a should, it's a demand, not an expectation. So right now we're just working on frustration tolerance, where I'm trying to be okay with things not working out my way, because there are so many things which are not, and it's honestly kind of tiring, because it's like you invest so much of your time and energy into something or someone, and then things just don't work out, and it's just, it's disheartening sometimes. But it's okay, we move. I'm sorry, it's my birthday. I couldn't, I just cannot not put that song again. It's so cool. I love Anne Marie, and it's so catchy. Come on. So anyways, we come towards the end of this episode. Thank you so much for sticking in. I am so excited for my 20s because I'm doing it on the right foot. And I'm so like eternally grateful for the people in my life, because honestly, I wouldn't be where I am without those people. Like, so many of my close friends and all, they know the kind of stuff that I want to do, and if they come across an opportunity for me, they let me know about it. And like vice versa, when I come across something that I think they would enjoy and such, we like share those opportunities, we share those moments with each other. So it's like we're growing together, and individually, and it's honestly so beautiful. I love the people that are around me that keep me going. And it's like there are so many people who I don't even talk to as much, but just them existing, it just makes me want to do better in different aspects of my life. So I love the people who just make such positive impacts on you without even trying. I'm so excited because my 20s are gonna be fucking epic. I'm going to learn so much, I'm going to fall so much, I'm going to, have no regrets and evolve into the person that I want to be. Like, I'm becoming more of my own person as time goes by. So yeah. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Do let me know what you think about it. My Instagram and my email will be linked down below. If you're listening to my podcast on Spotify, please rate my podcast. It would help me so freaking much. There's like this option of rating the podcast. So if you like scroll up, you'll find this star option there, and give it a 5-star review, because that helps. um, yeah, I hope you guys are doing good, and you can expect more consistent like episodes, because I want to focus more on podcasting in the next few months, and this should be really cool. So here's to turning 20, here's to growing together, and here's to falling in love with life all over again. I'll see you guys in the next episode. I love you so much. Bye.